Hello everybody and welcome to Contacts Reducing Isolation and Increasing Wellbeing in Your Parent Carer Community. So here we go, welcome again, and if there is any technical hitches, please do bear with us. For all those that are joining with a PC, laptop, tablet, smartphone, you should be able to see the introduction slide. Timing and questions. If you could please just hold all your questions till the end. There is a box that you can put them in and we will answer them as much as we can. Further to any questions that you have that's not covered in the time that we've got allocated, contact, we'll be putting this on the website, so please keep a lookout there. Contact and the DfE know that there are incredibly challenging times for forums and parent care forums across the country at the moment this year. There is additional flexibility in the terms of what forums can do and spend on their DfE funding for this year. There is a flexibility around finding new ways to keep forums running during this time, but also to help reduce isolation and engage with parent carer community if they do have the capacity to do so. Some forums who have the capacity to carry on engaging with parents and working with strategic partners have come up with new and innovative ways to do this, and we would like to share some of those with you today. So I'm Kay, I'm from Rotherham Parent Carers Forum, and myself and Jemma will be talking about what we have done since the outbreak of COVID-19. Then I will pass on to the brilliant Lewisham and the fabulous Suffolk forums to tell you, and they will tell you themselves what they have been experiencing and the activities they've been doing. Some forums have been reporting having new ways of engaging with parents in helping them to reach new families which they wouldn't normally do so, which means they will have more representative in the future. So we hope you find all this today helpful. If you have the capacity to do new things, and if not, then you will find this useful in the future in working in new ways when the times are less challenging. Do talk to your advisor if you want to try new things or are unsure if they have met the conditions for the grant. But for now, let's begin. And I'll pass this over to Jemma.
So hi, I'm Jemma and I'm part of Rotherham Parent Carer Forum team. I'll just start with giving you a bit of background into the types of technology and software we've been using. The key software we've used throughout this pandemic is the Office 365 for Business. It was what we already had before COVID-19, but we hadn't realised its full potential and we're still discovering things now. You will hear us mention forms and bookings a lot. These are free apps within the Office 365 software and don't cost us anything other than the annual subscription. It has enabled us to do so much more than we ever thought possible. You may have access to them already and not even realise it. My 14-year-old daughter has free access through her high school. We have used Google and YouTube videos to teach ourselves and learn how to use them, and none of us have had any IT training. One of the apps is Forms. It's so versatile and enables you to collect and interpret data quickly and efficiently. It is also extremely user-friendly and accessible on phones, tablets and laptops. The beauty of it is that it automatically populates an Excel spreadsheet. We use it to remotely collect consent, to collect voice, to register interest in events, to record feedback, and it's brilliant for monitoring. Bookings is another app which enables you to create bookable services like appointments and telephone calls at set times. You can select the details you need and the parent carer can request a phone call at a time that suits them and you. It stops a lot of chasing back and forth trying to get hold of people. We also have a strong Facebook presence with a main information page, a private discussion page and a new digital page. We have 950 of our members that subscribe to our newsletter via MailChimp. These, along with the website, have been really important in getting information out to our families. We are just extending the use of our YouTube page, allowing for more active engagement with our members and especially our young volunteers. In terms of voice and influence and strategic work, this has carried on very strongly throughout the pandemic. As a forum, we have a strong ethos based on the cornerstones of genuine partnerships, working with services, the CCG, local authority and the voluntary sector. Strategic meetings and working parties have continued, with our team being able to access meetings via Zoom, Teams and GoToMeetings. We have carried out a number of targeted consultations. First, we had a schools and settings consultation to capture the varied experiences of families. The picture was inconsistent, but the good practices and the aspects that have helped families were fed back to the authority, and many changes have been made. This has developed, and we are now collecting questions and concerns from our families about schools returning. This happens on a weekly basis, and questions are fed back to the local authority, addressed and answered for us then to publish. One school asked us for support with wording for a homeschool promise for children going back during the pandemic. Language was really important here to enable true partnership and inclusion. The document we co-produced is now widely being used by schools as a template. The education consultation led to the need for a health consultation. We wanted to know what was happening for our children and young people in terms of appointments, assessments and therapies. We are in the process of collating and feeding this one back to the CCG. We created a carers consultation, which has been used for all carers across the borough, and this has had an excellent response. We are working with the CCG to improve experiences of using the Rotherham Health app. Comments, views and questions collected from our families are used to help shape any future improvements. And in terms of pathways, we are looking closely with the CCG and the local authority to look at clarity around them. A common theme is families finding communication with services difficult, and it's even more important that we feed this voice back during the pandemic. All of these consultations and collection of voice were done via the Forms app. Families have reported this to be a very quick, efficient and user-friendly way to share their experiences. When things began to close and the lockdown started, our main focus was how we could reduce isolation for our families and collect their voice to shape this new and uncertain future. We looked at what our team wanted to offer and what they could offer, bearing in mind we are all carers to children and young people with SEND. We looked at what we already offered as a forum and how we could continue it. A key part of our forum work has for many years been the weekly drop-in coffee morning. So we started by looking at how we could replicate that. We chose the Zoom platform as it seemed easy to access and was available to all of our members who had a smartphone, a tablet or a computer. Lots of people on our team were scared of the technology and really didn't want to see themselves online. It was a big learning curve for everyone. None of us had ever used it before. We tested it first with team members and then a few other parents before we rolled it out. Initially, we offered this every morning during the week, and we kept this going throughout the holidays to keep some kind of consistency for families. In the early days, we were reactive and responding to immediate needs and difficulties, and the themes that we were hearing were directly related to the pandemic, getting medication and food, etc. Now they are more focused around the needs of the children and young people and how the new normal will include, engage and support them. Once we had established the drop-ins, we started to look at other services we had offered in the past and could we replicate them. We have always facilitated private appointments with practitioners during our weekly drop-ins, so the next step was to look at how we could do that virtually. We have found that Zoom has breakout rooms which offer a private space within the virtual chat. So we now work alongside the Educational Psychology Service to provide private appointments with them during our Monday morning drop-in session, and these can be booked in advance through our website. The bookings are made through the Bookings app on 365 and the data is collected via the Forms app. We did, however, realise that not everyone will be able to join us for drop-ins during the day, so we wanted to set up an evening chat. We didn't want people to feel that they had to be camera ready in the evening and that they might just want to chill out in their pyjamas, so we decided we needed some kind of chat forum facility rather than a video platform. We had no clear plan about how it could or would work, and we researched online chat forums but settled on Facebook online chat as we already had lots of members in a private discussion group. Initially, we set it up as a Facebook event and it was going really well for the first half hour, and then people started disappearing. We wondered what was going on and then found out that people were getting banned for posting too many times and Facebook thought they were spammers. So after being responsible for numerous one-day Facebook bans, it was back to the drawing board and more research on Google, and we found Facebook watch parties, which don't have any restrictions on how many times people can post. We needed to watch something while we were chatting, so the idea of listening to and watching calming Zen-like videos was born, and we haven't had anybody else banned since. Feedback from both the evening chat and the virtual drop-ins has shown that people like them and want them to stay. Families who have struggled in normal times to get to drop-in sessions because of work commitments, caring commitments, logistics of travel, etc., or because their young people are uncomfortable leaving the house, have now been able to access our services, and we are reaching people who haven't actively engaged with us before. We have also realised that we can easily keep a version of this going in the school holidays, as that can often be a time families feel isolated. Historically, we haven't had good attendance at drop-ins during the holidays due to childcare issues, but the virtual drop-in will eliminate this problem. If our intention was to continue this kind of support, we realised we slowly needed to decrease its frequency so it was manageable and sustainable. So now we've moved to 3 drop-ins a week, 3 evening chats, and our regular school holiday offer will be 1 virtual drop-in and 1 evening chat every week. So then we started to look at how the other services we offered could continue. The counselling team were able to carry on supporting some new families over the phone, but we also realised there may be people who just needed one-off emotional support phone calls to help them deal with the immediate effects of the pandemic on their mental health. Again, the Bookings app was used to make set times available for booking through our website. Our peer support team were also able to continue to offer telephone sessions, and home working has made us realise how simple it will be to offer more flexible appointments. So we will continue to offer this service throughout the school holidays, and from September we will also be offering some evening telephone appointments. We now have training workshops up and running via Zoom, and parents and carers that have joined us so far have been pleased with the format. They are run in very small groups with a maximum of 5 attendees to make them a person-centred and allow for quality group discussion. A presentation is shown via the screen share, and any resources are emailed out in advance of the session. Using forms, we have created a virtual waiting list. Our training workshops are listed on our website with a brief synopsis, and parents and carers can click on the training that interests them and leave their details. We then run the courses according to demand, and those people are given priority booking access. This saves time, reduces admin, and often there is no need to even advertise it. Through forms and bookings, we have been able to create systems which minimise the need for parents to phone our main telephone number. It is still open, but we've realised that a lot of our parents can access what they need through our website, and they are enjoying being able to sign up to things online and not only be able to access us through the day. It's amazing how many SEND parents are awake in the night. I wonder why. More recently, we've been able to offer sibling support via Zoom to some of our older siblings, and this has been a lifeline for them to be able to talk about with other young people who have similar difficulties at home. Again, forms was used to collect remote consent for the young people involved. Now it's over to Kay, who will tell you a bit more about our activities for families.
Hi, I'm Kay. We're from Rotherham Parent Carers Farm. I'll just let you know what we've been doing in the activities section. So let's start off. Normally, before COVID-19, we had quite a sustainable activities program where we had at least three activities a week. Plus, we did things during school holidays. And obviously, when the pandemic hit, we quickly realised that we had to do something. And myself and Jemma and a few other colleagues got together and decided that we had to carry it on, and it had to go virtual. There was no other way that we could do it other than going virtual. So we did a lot. We've piloted it with volunteers and team first, and it went really well. So then we moved on, and we decided that we needed a whole virtual offer, which Gemma's talked about off the side of peer support and other things like that. So it runs Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 p.m. in the week, and it's like during the week. And the first one they do on a Monday it's called Monday Mindfulness, and it's with Marie. And Marie has this most amazing voice that it really just soothes the soul. It really does. And she takes you on these sort of adventures into mountains and to woodland. And it's for the whole family to enjoy, and it's absolutely fantastic. So that's done on a Monday, and then all the rest of the activities is either with myself or we've been getting volunteers to join in as well, and young people, which has been extremely popular. So we do all sorts of different things, like it shows you on here. It shows you obviously we do dance parties, and we do duck racing, which is little ducks. They pick a number and they go off, and the kids absolutely love that. Play cards right. The dance parties, as you can see down here, there's me with the virtual wizard's hat on. We have puppet shows, lots of different things. Every single day. So that was absolutely critical. And then we've also, as Jemma talks about, we've moved on to a YouTube, putting all the activities onto YouTube. So a lot of the children like to watch things over and over again, but on the Facebook platform you kind of lose it. So with the activities, we've gone for Zoom and for Facebook Live, and obviously on the Zoom as well is more interactive because you can see them and they can see you, but with the Facebook Live they can only see you. But a lot of children do prefer the Facebook. So this is the YouTube channel, and like I said, we've got some wonderful young people that are doing the songs with signing. We've got Jed, who's a volunteer, and he's been doing some stories. We've got Kirsty, who's been doing origami. Lots and lots of different activities going on, and obviously you can keep it on here, and then if children really want to and young people like to watch it over and over again, they can do, which is really good. So I just want you to let you know here, this is Lionel the lion, and he's our mascot. And actually, this was actually my partner who got in here, and it was really hot on the day that he actually did it. But if to talk about it, reducing isolation through activities has been a real success, to be fair. And we've reached families that we wouldn't normally. So like Jemma said before, those families that can't really come to activities, whether it be lots of reasons for whether they've been out of school or they've got anxiety and they don't want to leave the house and things like that, they've been interacting virtually, which has been lovely to see. And obviously that we're interacting with more people than what we normally would do, and we're definitely going to carry on with this in the future, even when hopefully when all this COVID stuff's gone away, we will still do this because we've found that we're reaching more people as well, which is really good. And I'll just move on to the processes. Obviously through the Facebook page, we've already got a discussion page which we've had for some years, and the process is in place, so you've got to keep it. So sometimes on the Facebook page you'll get random people that want to join, which might not be for safeguarding reasons. You can't let them join, so you've really got to make sure you've got these processes in place. And it's kind of, we've got the triple security steps. So they have to be a part of your membership, they have to be a part of the discussion page, which has been going for some years, because to only get on that discussion page you've got to be a member. So to get the digital page that we set up for the whole of for these virtual activities. But it's like I say, it's really important that you have these processes in place just to keep everybody safe. We've consulted with families on what activities do they want, because not everybody wants the same thing, and we like to keep it in the family's choice of what to do. So do they want dancing? Do they want puppet shows? Do they want card games. What do they want? Ask them what they want. You know, it's all about the families, and we have to keep it around the families. And also get your volunteers and young people involved in stuff, but empower them. They absolutely love it, and they thrive from it. You know, you have a lot of young people that want to get involved and and have some incredible talents, and it's just really good to get everybody involved and to have a community sort of spirit about it, really. And one thing that we've learned through everything that we've done, everything's always evolving and moving forward and changing. I mean, what we're looking at the moment is one-to-one activity sessions with families to give them that extra sort of making sure you're reducing isolation and working on, children's language and everything else that comes with it, to tailor fit that activity. What's a child's interest, special interest, and can you use that to interact, where probably perhaps if in other activities where you're out in public, they might not interact with you because they've got those anxieties around that. So yeah, so moving forward, like I said, the YouTube is the way forward, moving to YouTube. The Zoom sessions, and obviously, like I've talked about before, it's about safeguarding and keeping things safe is a real, it's paramount, really. So yeah, so that's on to me. I think, is it Lewisham or?
No, it's me again, Kay.
Oh, was it you? Sorry, Gemma. You again. So I'll pass on to Gemma.
So in the beginning, when we started suggesting some of the virtual ideas, we had team members who threatened to leave rather than interact on Zoom, and others who said they could never learn how to do it. 2 months later, and the same volunteers have created their own online Zoom presentations and now say that they want to carry on using the virtual technology even when things get back to normal. Similarly, when we did the consultation about health needs, one of the main themes coming through was that parents and carers would like to see the option of telephone and online appointments become a standard part of the new normal. So moving forward, as the country slowly embraces a new kind of normal, we are keen to maintain aspects of the virtual offer in our long-term working plan, and we will approach the future with so many new skills in terms of technology and online presence. The slide on screen now is from our website. There will be a link to this page made available in the resource section of the webinar and contacts website. We have tried to collate in one area the systems and approaches we put into place with regards to online platforms, safeguarding, consent, data collection, and others. It's a work in progress, and we are constantly adding to it and updating it as we develop, but please feel free to read, use, and take what you need to adapt for your forum. Hints and tips, things that we've learned. Google it. We have found the answers to most of the problems we have faced through searching online. Be kind to yourselves and don't expect things to go perfectly. We have had many hitches along the way, including losing a team member in virtual space when we were practicing the breakout rooms. But we just laugh about it, and it shows our families that it's okay to get it wrong, and together we support each other without judgment. Think creatively about your grant this year. Is there some technology that would enable you to reach more families? Flexibility is definitely the way forward in these times. Think outside the box. There is no right or wrong way. You all know your own forums and where you want to go next. Look to other forums and other groups for advice and support. Share ideas and ask how people have done things, and then find the best fit for your forum. And remember, this is just one way, one story from one forum, and we are always looking for new ways to learn, develop and improve outcomes for our families. We are now going to hear from Lewisham and Suffolk and their responses to the pandemic, and can't wait to learn from them too. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Humphreys and I'm the co-chair of Suffolk Parent Carer Network. So Team Suffolk's response to COVID-19, the reason why it's got a hashtag is because very early on we, as a local system, decided that we needed to have this hashtag so that everything that any of the organisations were putting up, parents and carers and families could generally find with ease on social media. So we are lucky enough to sit on our integrated care system and what some other areas are calling sustainability and transformation partnerships for Suffolk and North East Essex. And sitting on there are district and borough councils, local authorities, each of the health providers, the clinical commissioning groups. And so on the 13th of March, we had a summit, a planning summit ready for COVID-19. And that enabled us as a forum to be prepared for what was coming, to have some really honest conversations across the system about the realities of what the health, care and education landscapes were going to look like and what support families might need. In addition to that, we were invited to be part of the local authority daily tactical management calls for children and young people, and the demand and capacity and service quality calls across the health system. This was a really privileged position we knew that we were in, because we were right at the heart of everything that was going on. As part of those calls, we hear every day the RAG rating of how all the services are, what the challenges are, what the stress is, and what they're doing to address some of the issues. I have to be honest, when we were first on those calls, it was a little bit scary in terms of what we were hearing, because we were hearing the reality of what was happening there and then, right as things were getting significantly worse across the country. But we are really pleased that we're on there, because it means that every day we can feed in what families are experiencing, what we've heard over the last 24 hours, once a week ourselves and the part of the local authority that represents children and young people give a presentation on what family themes there are, what the challenges are, what the positives are, but directly quotes from families, so that at the centre of everything that's happening are the voices of children, young people and families. It also means that we are able to raise concerns and issues and also escalate cases, including individual cases outside of those meetings, and we have a direct route into every single service. So next part of what we decided to do was to direct change to our normal offer as a PCF, and we were going to provide peer-to-peer support. A number of the team are very experienced professionally and personally in providing support, and so we set up a telephone line. Families could contact us through there, via email, via private or direct messaging on social media, in order to get in touch with us, and then one of the team would give them a ring and talk about what was going on for them at the time, what support they might need, handhold them to services as necessary. And one of the things that was really great about this offer is that we were supported across the system to do this. So our integrated community paediatric services, their whole psychology team, we were able to refer families directly into there as necessary. We were able to pick up the phone and just talk through some of the cases with any member of the education, health or care services, which really enabled us to find some resolution for families and get some urgent support in there where needed. It was daunting in the sense that it wasn't part of what we would normally do, but every single member of the forum team has stepped up to the plate, and we've had some really positive feedback from families. And part of our reflection has been that we would like to continue this form of offer going forward in the future to some extent. We don't know to what extent yet, but in addition to the normal PCF roles. One of the other things that we were able to develop in conjunction with our local authority psychology and therapeutic services, and where our educational psychologists sit, were some posters for families, and we're running with the theme of 5 top tips. So they were on a range of topics, and we have one aimed at primary age children and one aimed at young people, and they've covered a whole range of things like anxiety, anxiety if you have autism, returning to school, challenging behaviour, and you'll see an example of one of these a bit later on in the presentation. The other thing that we knew that families were going to need really quickly was information, and as we're all aware, the landscape has changed and continues to change all the time in terms of advice and guidance. So we pulled together an initial booklet which contained every bit of information that we could find, and we've added to it. And we're in the process of just uploading. We now put them, because they're so big, into separate booklets. They're not on our website today, but they should be on there by the end of the week. And they're now in different topics. So we've got easy read, we've got social stories, we've got a co-produced frequently asked questions booklet. We've got how to talk to your child or young person about COVID-19. We've got how to support children and young people experiencing mental health issues or emotional distress in relation to COVID-19. So a whole range of resources, and the link is there. You will find some booklets on there now, but as I said, they'll be updated towards the end of the week. So moving on to the next slide. One of the things that we also decided to do were to send out family support boxes, because we knew that lockdown was coming and we knew that it would be challenging for families. So they have grown over the last 12-13 weeks, but so they contain a range of items, including a bag with some sensory items in, normally about 10 or 11 items, small items in total. There's a children's colouring or puzzle book. There's a mindfulness colouring book aimed at older children or adults, because we also include in the box items for parents and carers. And we also include small items for siblings, so like a bouncy ball, a colouring book, a fuzzy bug. We also have in there a personalised letter. So there is a handwritten letter, and we have written a considerable number of them, as you will find out as the presentation goes on. But it's a personalised letter, basically letting every family know. It's addressed to the children, but letting every family know that the Parent Carer Forum team are thinking about their family, because we wanted fundamentally for families to know that they're not alone. And that was the point of us changing our offer to include support for families, and to send out the family support boxes. There's also a sheet on there with messages of support. We asked our members to send in messages that they'd like to give to other parents, and the sheets with the 5 top tips that I mentioned on the last slide, where children and young people can access direct support, whether it's for their mental health or just for somebody to chat to, and where parents and carers can access support as well. And the boxes have grown in the sense that other organisations, other charities and organisations nationally and locally have seen what we're doing and have asked if they could send things in to be included in the box. And our local integrated care system printed, you'll see on the picture, there's a Art is Where the Home Is booklet. That's quite a significant activity booklet that any age child or young person can take part in, and it's done by a range of artists, so there's something for everybody in there. And so they've printed that for us free of charge. The health system have added some more leaflets to help get the messages out about suicide prevention and where people can turn to if they are in crisis or if they're concerned, and things like leaflets about cancer and what the signs to look out for. It also included our local health watch, who we work very closely with. They've done a number of surveys about how people are feeling about lockdown and their experiences. So we've included them when they were running, and we're getting requests every week of new stuff to add. In terms of how much they cost, because I know that will probably be a question, we've managed to, because we bought things in bulk before lockdown, as we recognised it was coming, the average cost of the contents of the box is about £3. We have a team of volunteers who deliver the boxes locally in some of the districts, so that saves us significant costs, because the cost of posting a box, by the time you add in siblings and parents, and for some families who may have 5 or 6 children with additional needs, the cost of posting the box is £3.10. We got funding for this. Obviously we wouldn't be able to afford to do it from our DFE grant, so we approached our Suffolk Community Foundation. So I think most areas have a community foundation who have got a coronavirus COVID-19 appeal. We receive funding from our clinical commissioning groups, and we have received funding from our local mental health trust, Norfolk and Suffolk Foundation Trust. So when we had sent out the first lot of boxes, I think by the time we'd reached about 1,500 children, young people and families, there was no cost to the forum at that point. We've continued to send them out. And so there will be a cost to the forum, but we are hoping to get some additional funding. And my advice would be approach your local authority, approach your clinical commissioning groups, approach your health providers, and because they really do have an impact. So knock on the door and ask, because some of the comments we've received, and if you go on our social media, on our Facebook page and our Twitter, you will see some of the comments from families, and they have made such a difference to those families. So moving on to the next slide. So we reached over 2,000 children, young people and families in the first 9 weeks. The knock-on effect, because the only condition was that you had to be a member of the forum in order to receive one, and it's seen an increase in the forum membership of over 900 parents and carers, and we are still receiving requests all the time. We also made a separate agreement with Suffolk County Council that we would send a box to any family who had a looked after child, whether they had an additional need or not. And so we also now have a significant number of foster carers and special guardians, special guardianships who have signed up to the forum. So it has increased our reach and our membership, which has been a positive side effect of this. And you can see on the screen now, there is one of those examples, the 5 top tips for families. Some of those are also on the same link on our website, and they're free to download, and happy for forums to use them as they see fit. Also, we have planned with the psychology and therapeutic services, we're now looking at doing some webinars for families, particularly on sleep. So that's sleep both for children and young people and for parents and carers, because I'm sure that a lot of us are not getting as much sleep as we probably need to at the minute. And we will continue to produce these over the coming weeks and months, and working in partnership with the local authority. So we're really pleased that we've got that opportunity. So moving on to the next slide. Part of what we have done, as you will see on the next slide, is that we have collected data. So when we have contact with parents and carers, whether that's wanting support from us or signing up for membership, so we actually collect data on all contacts, and this an anonymised version of this is shared across our partners in the statutory and voluntary sector. And so we collect things like the first part of the postcode, the age of all children and young people in the household, primary and secondary need, the needs of parents and carers, what the family wants support with, and that's enabled, that's actually directly informed commissioning. And they've commissioned a range of voluntary sector that I've given examples of 4 of them here. And there are links to those organisations, but that's as a direct result of the data that the forum have given, and we will continue to inform commissioning going forward, so that's really positive. So moving on to the next slide, we have also alongside that had to continue with our business as usual. We are under a written statement of action. The Department for Education continued with one of their monitoring meetings. I think a few days after lockdown. We've had a lot of work still to do with SEND, so it's all gone virtual. Our mental health transformation was paused momentarily, but was picked up as part of the response to COVID-19, but also it's now restarting again. And some of those things, those business as usual, will have a direct impact and positive impact on families during the pandemic. And so then the final, or the second to last slide for us, so what next? We've got 2 current surveys. One is about what support do families need right now and over the next 3 months, and that again is going to inform commissioning, and then the experiences of health services in the last 3 months compared to the previous 3 months, looking particularly at what adaptations have been made to provision in education, health and care plans, and what reasonable endeavours services have made, and the intention for both those surveys is to commission further support services and address any issues regarding EHCP provision. And finally, onto the last slide, we weren't busy enough, so we decided that we would take up an initiative that started up north from us, which is called Hearts. Well, it was Hearts for Hospitals. We made it for care homes. We knew that the positive impact that knitting or crocheting has, and so we've asked if our members and the wider public will do this. And the intention is to reach every single care home in Suffolk and all mental health inpatient wards. And finally, Brody. So Brody is a little boy whose reaction, there is a video sums up why we're doing what we're doing and the impact that our family support boxes have had.
It's squishy. Oh, the ball. Wow. Reef. And this.
What is it?
The rainbow.
Wow.
What's it inside?
Is it slime?
Yeah, it's slime. I can show us my bag. Yay! Oh, what else? What's this?
No, it's a spinner.
Spinner. 1, 2, 3. Wee.
I would really encourage you to watch it, and to watch it anytime you need a smile. And I'm now going to hand over to my colleagues from Lewisham.
Hello, hi, I'm Sue Stocks, and I facilitate Lewisham Parent and Carers Forum on behalf of our 7 trustees. We also have 2 part-time transition workers who work with young people 16 to 25, and they're funded by the City Bridge Trust. I'm going to turn the webcam off whilst I talk to you to make it easier for me. One moment. Okay, so well, unlike Suffolk, we were not really prepared for the lockdown, to be honest, and we were a bit of a loss of what we were going to be doing and how we were going to continue with all the planning that we now had to cancel. So I thought as the facilitator, I needed a little bit of help, and so I'd actually requested from the trustees that I received some coaching to help me do this. The trustees are always very supportive of everything to do with the forum and myself, so they agreed that that was a good idea. Slides, please. Okay, so we had received some partnership training from a charity, an organisation called Charity Leaders, so it was so useful that I thought that I could perhaps go to them to see if I could have some coaching, like a one-to-one coaching sessions. So what they do is they provide guidance and governance and working with trustees, and also provided some good ideas and advice on how to move forward. So this gave me quite a lot of confidence and drive. So I've put the information up here because I thought that if anybody wanted to use such a service with either the one-to-one coaching or group coaching, you know, on the basis of group forum work, then it would be so useful. You know, it's just sometimes even just as a one-off, just to give you a kickstart, it can be quite useful. Anyway, so it did a lot for us, and I must say that I've benefited a great deal from having this coaching, which is actually ongoing for a year. the way that we thought we'd better start was to look through the feedback over the last year. For all the events that we run, we give out feedback forms, and we ask for parents to give new ideas of the work that we could be doing for them. I thought we could use that, and then we could just adapt it to the situation with regards to the lockdown. Okay, so we looked at the feedback, and also our our trustees. They're really out there networking in the community with parents and carers, and what they do is they work with other groups. Some of them do sort of mental health and wellbeing, or work for other support groups like our Downs group in Lewisham, and so they bring back a lot of knowledge to our parent forum, which is invaluable to help us move forward. Okay, so these are the workshops that we've undertaken so far are sibling support. That seemed to be quite a powerful one, working with other children, and also Drumbeat School and the ASD COVID top tips that they provided, and universal credits, which we had a lot of parents attending that. I don't think any young people actually attended as well. And preparing for adulthood went really well, and we're going to be holding another one of those. And then anxiety in young people is coming up next month. And the future ones is preparing for adulthood year 9, and then mental capacity and sensory support. We may run others, but we haven't sort of discussed that as yet. But we're just doing sort of one a month at the moment, so that we can work around doing other things in between. Okay, so we've worked on SurveyMonkey so that we can gather our feedback from online work. As I say, we use SurveyMonkey. We're getting quite a lot of feedback, so we can actually ask parents what it is that they actually need from us. So that's going quite well at the moment. Okay, so what we do every month is we've been using MailChimp to design our newsletters. We used to do it in Word, which wasn't very practical, really. So these are the sort of things that we would have in our newsletter. So there's a whole list of things that we're doing, including our online training and surveys, and just and even free online training that is available. Anything that comes our way, we'll put into our newsletter. We also have a very active website that is updated practically daily, and there's so much information on there for parents at this time. I mean, it's fairly new. We've only had it a couple of years, so we're quite proud of that one. And then that you can link to the website here, and then there's also just say our last main newsletter to give an example of what we put on there. And also, one of the facilities that we find is brilliant is that it has a translation facility, and especially as we're such a diverse borough, it's just, I think it's an invaluable tool for us to have. And we've also set up a Facebook Our Voice chat group. It's not actually on Zoom as yet because we've just opened it up, and so it's for people to sort of come on there and voice their concerns, and we can get good feedback on how people are feeling and if they need anything. It's very much in its early stages at the moment. Okay, this is a City Bridge Trust funding that we received. It took us a year to get this, and we managed to get it in January. We got the funding for 3 years to support 20 people each year for those 3 years. The only problem is that now, I mean, it was supposed to be face-to-face on a one-to-one basis with the young people coming into the office, so that they could, work on CVs, and they could, look at courses, and just have some confidence in somebody, and they could spend, up to a year with our transition workers, so that they had, they could build some confidence and just sort of generally be more independent. But we haven't been able to do that because of the lockdown. But we thought that we could still continue on Zoom, so that's what we're doing. It's very much in its early stages at the moment, and we managed to employ our 2 transition workers just before the lockdown. So one of them is working directly with the young people, and our second one is working on finance and benefits, hopefully bringing in the young people with their parents so that they can help support them, so that they know what they need, especially if they're going to college or independent travel or anything like that. So that, as I say, it's really early stages, but we have 8 young people at the moment. Okay, our planning for the future is, we've actually set these up, the therapies. We've got some family yoga, which is starting this week on Thursday. So we have 2 meditation sessions, one in the morning and one in the evening. We have some family yoga, and then there will be a children's yoga session at the end of the block of sessions, which is running for 5 weeks. We're hoping to get some funding from this. There's the National Lottery Community Fund, which is available. I don't know if everybody knows about this, but I think forums will fall into the category of being able to apply for, to carry on the support of working with families with disabilities. I mean, it's worth looking into. Anyway, we're going to be applying just to see if we can continue it after the 5 weeks, because these therapists have offered their services for, a very minimal amount. And so we're lucky to be able to have that. And then we're starting up the coffee morning drop-ins, which they will start on the 23rd of June. Just to encourage parents to come along and be less isolated and talk about their issues. It doesn't always work for everybody to talk with other people around, but we are looking to offer like one-to-one support sessions, like a time to talk, either phone or email. So we're putting up our information on the website of how we can help them in a more professional capacity, because we all have something that we can help parents with, and we're very good at signposting, and we know what's available in our borough. And even if it's just to have someone to talk to, we think that we can help with that. So this is all very new, the support sessions and the coffee morning drop-in. Also, the other thing is the non-violence resilience courses. One of our trustees brought this to our attention, and it's very obvious really that a lot of our young people and siblings possibly having behavioural issues, being at home and being so restricted and not having their routines and such like. So we think that we may be able to get these courses for free, to run a session of course, like 6-week course, something like that. But if it comes to it that we have to pay, perhaps we can try and include that in our National Lottery funding bid. Anyway, so that's sort of the planning for the head. Okay, I seem to have a slide missing, but I just wanted to quickly touch on the work that we've done with the local authority. We had started on the NHS long-term plan with the CCG before the lockdown. So we had a meeting to sort of get things going, and we have done some work on young people's annual health review. So that was really positive, but we need to get back in touch with them to get things going with them again. And then now the local authority have just within the last week been in touch, so everything's been very quiet in that department. But now we're looking at supporting Sencos to communicate with parents and carers, and helping to set up peer support groups in schools. We're also looking at our SEND strategy, and we are on the local offer and communications and engagement work stream. So we're looking to engage with that again. And I think that's it on the work with the local authority. There isn't, I mean, it will come in and we will start to do more. And once we're a little bit more organised and established, we'll get everything up and running. And there's our contact details. And thank you.
Are we all ready for questions?
Okay, so Anne here, I'm just going to hand out the questions. So the first one from Jane Stevens, I believe is for UK or Jemma. Can you please advise regarding the Forms app? Do you share that on your Facebook page or posts and via e-bulletins? Thank you.
Right, so Jemma here. Yes, when you create the forms, which is quite simple to create, there's a link to copy and a link that you just copy and paste into anything. You can put it in a text message, you can put it on Twitter, you can put it on Facebook, anything really where you can paste it, and then they can just click on it and it goes straight directly to that form to fill in. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So the second question is from Catherine Walters, again for Rotherham. Are all the services like mindfulness and counselling and EP appointments things that the PCF were doing before COVID-19 too?
Yes, that is what we do before COVID as well. Yes, the EP, I think Jemma, EP
we weren't doing the mindfulness. That's the only one that's new for now. But the EPs and the counselling we were doing before, we've just turned them virtual now.
Fantastic. So the next one is for me, from Eva. What system do you use to collect data from your contacts with parents? So we use a good old-fashioned Excel spreadsheet, and we manually put in all of ours, but it allows us to then extrapolate what data that we want. So the next question, Mital, is: have any forums applied for lottery funding? What information do they need for the application? So Suffolk hasn't, so I don't know if my colleagues have from Lewisham or Rotherham.
We haven't applied yet. No, we haven't applied as yet, but we've started to fill it. The thing is they do provide a lot of information online. When you go on there, it gives you all the guidelines and things that you can look at. And they're also, we do have someone that we can use to help us out. She's helped us out for free in the past, but now she's a consultant on her own. She'll probably charge us to look over applications. But it's probably worth letting a third party have a look. You know, somebody who's experienced with funding applications. Is that helpful at all?
So the next question was: we would be very interested in the non-violence resilience courses. Where do we find out about that information? So that would be for Lewisham.
Okay, well, we've just found out about it ourselves. One of our trustees is actually on one of the courses at the moment because she went on to help, well, to support a parent, but the parent withdrew and she stayed on, and she brought it to my attention. So what we're doing is we're gathering information on that, so I can share it. You know, you can contact me directly, or anyone can contact me about it, or I can put it out there once we've got more information, because we were going to pay, you know, see if we can get funding to pay for a block of courses, you know, sort of several courses throughout the year. But now I think one of the blocks may be free. So I can always come back to everybody on that once we've got more information, because as I say, it's in the planning at the moment.
That'd be really helpful. And in answer, there's a question was: is it resilience or resistance? And it's non-violent resistance, because we actually run this in Suffolk. The forum doesn't, but our local parenting, our local authority parenting programs run it, but they run it in-house.
I think it's resistance. I think it's non-violence resistance, managing the behaviour at home.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've had some really good feedback about it as a course. So I'll be really interested in obviously how you progress with it. And then there's a really helpful comment from Julie, just saying that your local voluntary service council should be able to help with looking at applications.
Okay, we've got another question here that's come via chat. So it's specifically for Anne. Regarding the webinars, what software are you planning to use for these?
Oh, that's a very good question. The answer is I don't know. Our local authority have purchased a webinar program, and we will probably use it through there, but I'm quite happy to find out. And again, if people want to contact me directly, our general email is admin@spcn.org.uk. Then I can answer that question. That's not a problem. Thank you. So that seems to be all of the questions. So it just remains for us to say thank you very much for attending our webinar today. You will get a short questionnaire at the end of this webinar. Please do take the time to complete it, because it helps us plan future events, and the recording of the webinar and presentation will be available on Contact's website in the next 2 weeks. Look out for news about this on Contact's homepage and social media networks. Thank you very much.